Hello and welcome to the October update of Brockwell Lane T.M.D. I've recently just been doing some very small jobs, fine detailing weathering, which I showed you a few just before this. There's no massive changes going to happen now. There's one or two new models I've got. I'll just talk you through a couple of little detail changes I've made. Well, first of all, I've weathered, or begun to weather, all the track, including the underlay, which I think is subtle, but it looks a little bit better than it did. But that's work in progress. It'll probably get dirtier. It's just with a wash of enamels, rail match usually. Over all areas of the visible track there. I think it blends it into the scene a little bit better. It's more heavy around these sidings, and over that crossing there, there's another wash of a different brown on top again to try and bring out some of the planks and the details. I've added a lot of these bushes around this area, particularly on this this wasteland here. Let's move these wagons out of the way. Woodland scenic clump foliage to try and add a little bit of depth to that. All over there, make it look generally a little bit more overgrown than it did. Add some other colours to it. There's a little bit of graffiti under the bridge there and on there, to try and make it a little bit more modern, because that's something you see on the modern railways, of course, liked or not. There's a model railway show on at the town hall this Sunday. That was actually cut out the back of one of the model magazines. I can't remember what show it was actually advertising, but I had to cut it down a bit to get it fit there. I think it looks quite nice. I've added a dirty old, supposed to be an old signal post there, next to that pile of bricks, which was maybe an old plate layer's hut, which had been demolished. Just show a little bit of history. Signboards. These are poster boards next to the road there, which I've added to try and block the view where it goes straight onto the back scene. There's 3 of those, painted silver and weathered. Just trying to break it up a little bit, so you have to look round to see the street scene. A couple of new figures there from Preza, HO1s for the background, a couple of policemen. We really don't know what's gone on in that block of flats, but I don't think it's good, whatever it is. There's the old lawnmower and a skip been added to this back garden, which is slowly becoming more detail packed, unkept. Went to Doddington swap meet last weekend looking for Hornby 31s or Helgen 33s. Didn't find any. In fact, the only thing I got was this Class 57, which I wasn't sure about because it's an old livery. I don't know anything about the first Great Western ones, at least, and thought it was a bit of a grotty looking thing. However, I got it home, I've put a lot of details on it. I've since been on the internet researching them and on YouTube watching people's videos of them, and I now know quite a bit about them, and I'm surprised how much I like this now. It was only £43. At that price I thought, I can't really say no, and I'm glad I did it because it's an interesting model now. Now I've had this a while. This is it's a 2-car set of Super Sprinter from Lima. However, the chassis is a Bachmann 158, which I did as an experiment. There's a lot of carving up and chopping around, and it's not completely accurate. However, it does run very nicely. Although that's when I was planning this layout to be based in Scotland on Fort William, and since then it's been in the drawer, not really used because it's a little bit too long for this layout. But it was an interesting project, and well, I think somebody really ought to bring them out again in more accurate, but because it was a lot of work. The lemur model is quite basic, but that looks pretty good on the shed there. And here's another new locomotive I bought recently, which doesn't fit into this layout at all, but I fancied it anyway. It's the new Bachmann Great Western 64XX pannier, which I've repainted in precision Brunswick green, reapplied those decals on there, etched plates, springside lamps, crew, etc. And this will probably end up running on my dad's layout, because as I said earlier, it's nothing. It doesn't fit into this layout at all. With the flats in the background, it looks rather strange, but I'll show it anyway, because I do like steam engines as well. You'll also notice a porter cabin has appeared at the end of the platform, which is meant to be a modern signal box, which has got a wooden gate to stop passengers trespassing. I'm looking for a second kit to go on top to make it a double-decker. It's from Nightwing, actually, this. So that'll come in time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.